Detailed summary of The Cruel Prince. The story begins with Jude Duarte, a 7-year-old human girl living an ordinary life with her sisters, Taryn, her twin, and Vivi, her half-fairy sister. Their peaceful existence is disrupted when Madoc, a fairy general, invades their home in the human world, brutally murders their parents, and takes the 3 girls to the magical realm of Elfame. Madoc is Vivi's biological father, and his motivation is to reclaim his legitimate daughter while also taking responsibility for the human twins. In Elfame, Jude and Taryn grow up under Madoc's protection but face constant hostility from the fairies, who regard humans as inferior. Vivi, rebellious by nature, rejects the fairy realm and longs to return to the human world. Jude, however, decides to fight for her place. Jude's determination to be accepted by the fairies, not as a subordinate but as an equal, defines her journey. She trains rigorously to become a skilled warrior, even though she knows she will never have the physical strength of the fairies. Madoc, though stern and pragmatic, encourages her ambitions, teaching her about strategy and politics. The school where Jude and Taryn study becomes a social battlefield, dominated by Prince Cardan, the youngest of Elfame's royal family. Cardan and his aristocratic circle of friends make the twins' lives a nightmare through relentless bullying. Cardan, in particular, is sadistic and arrogant, but Jude occasionally perceives glimpses of vulnerability beneath his facade. Unlike Taryn, who seeks to appease the fairies, Jude confronts them, resisting their humiliations. This constant defiance fuels an intense rivalry between her and Cardan. As Jude struggles to survive in Elfame, the kingdom's political intrigues intensify. The king of Elfame is about to abdicate, preparing to pass the crown to one of his children. Dane, the favored prince, approaches Jude with an offer to make her his spy. Jude accepts, desiring not only power but also independence in a world that constantly seeks to silence her. As a spy, she delves into the court's intrigues, uncovering secrets that threaten the kingdom's balance. Dane's coronation is meant to be a peaceful transition, but it turns into a bloodbath. Balekin, Dane's cruel elder brother, conspires with Madoc to seize the throne. During the ceremony, Balekin murders Dane and most of the royal family, leaving Cardan as the sole surviving heir. However, Cardan flees, refusing to support Balekin. Witnessing the chaos, Jude realizes that Balekin and Madoc plan to use Cardan as a puppet to consolidate their power. Determined to prevent this, Jude captures Cardan before he can fall into Balekin's hands. At this point, Jude begins to display her true political cunning. Using her knowledge as a spy and her negotiation skills, she manipulates Cardan into following her orders. Reluctantly, Cardan agrees to a magical pact that compels him to obey her for a year and a day. Jude then orchestrates Cardan's coronation as king but maintains control behind the scenes. Her rise to power, however, is fraught with risks. Madoc, enraged at being deceived, begins planning his own revolt against Jude's regime. Meanwhile, Jude's personal relationships grow increasingly complicated. Taryn reveals that she is engaged to Locke, one of Cardan's friends and someone who used to humiliate Jude. Even worse, Locke had used Jude to provoke jealousy in Taryn, creating a conflict between the sisters. Jude feels betrayed, not only by Locke but also by her own sister. This episode illustrates how personal relationships and political intrigues in Elfame are deeply intertwined. Jude's relationship with Cardan also evolves in unexpected ways. Despite her initial disdain for him, she begins to see beyond his cruelty. Cardan, in turn, reveals that he is more than just a spoiled prince. He is intelligent and capable of deep reflection. This complexity creates a dynamic of tension and attraction between them, though neither fully trusts the other. In the climax of the book, Jude faces Madoc in a duel. Although he trained her, she defeats him using strategy rather than strength, proving that her intellect is her most powerful weapon. However, she knows this victory is only temporary. Madoc remains a powerful figure, and his ambition to dominate Elfame continues to pose a threat. The book ends with Cardan crowned king but under Jude's control. He has pledged to obey her orders for a year and a day, but his expression at the end suggests that he is already plotting to reclaim his power. Jude, for her part, realizes that maintaining control of the throne will be a constant struggle, especially with so many power players in Elfame eager to see her fail. Conclusion: The Cruel Prince is a fascinating story of power, betrayal, and identity. Jude is a complex protagonist whose decisions and ambitions challenge the conventions of typical heroines. The book does not offer easy solutions to her dilemmas, reflecting the reality that power and respect often come at high costs. The political intrigues, tangled relationships, and character development make the narrative rich and captivating, leaving readers eager to continue the series. Lessons from the book and how to apply them in everyday life. 1. Power is a double-edged sword. In the book, Jude seeks power as a way to protect herself and earn respect in a world that constantly belittles her. However, as she gains power, she discovers that maintaining it is an even greater challenge. Power not only attracts respect but also enemies, betrayals, and constant challenges. Example from the book: Jude manipulates and controls Cardan to place him on the throne, but this makes her a target for other power players like Madoc, who refuses to accept her authority. Additionally, she must deal with Cardan, who begins to challenge her control. In everyday life, imagine being promoted to a managerial position in a company. This new power brings greater responsibilities, such as making tough decisions, mediating conflicts among colleagues, and meeting leadership expectations. The promotion may also generate envy or resentment, requiring diplomacy and strategy to maintain the position. Lesson: gaining power is just the beginning. The true challenge is exercising it wisely and with resilience, managing the pressures and relationships it entails. 2. Ambition versus morality. Jude often faces difficult choices between doing what is morally right and what is necessary to achieve her goals. She makes morally gray decisions, such as manipulating Cardan and conspiring against her own family, justifying her actions as necessary for survival. Example from the book: when Jude discovers Madoc and Balakan's betrayal, she does not hesitate to deceive and coerce Cardan into a magical pact, placing him on the throne against his will. This ensures she controls the kingdom but raises ethical questions. In everyday life, consider someone striving for career advancement who is tempted to throw a colleague under the bus to impress their boss. While this action might bring short-term success, it can lead to regrets and damage to personal and professional relationships in the long run. Lesson: ambition is important for achieving goals, but it's crucial to balance ambition with maintaining moral integrity. 3. Identity and overcoming challenges. Jude is a human in a fairy world that constantly rejects her. Yet, she resolves to prove that she can be as strong, or stronger, than the fairies around her. Her determination and courage help her overcome challenges and earn respect, even in a hostile environment. Example from the book: Jude refuses to give up when mocked or humiliated. Instead, she trains rigorously to become a warrior and learns the intricate political rules of the kingdom to outwit her enemies. In everyday life, imagine a student who is the first in their family to attend university, facing prejudice or financial hardships. Like Jude, their determination and focus on their goals can help them overcome adversity and stand out. Lesson: even in challenging environments, perseverance and confidence in one's abilities are essential to overcoming obstacles. 4. Family and loyalty. Jude's relationships with Madoc and Taran highlight how family can be both a source of support and conflict. Though Madoc is her adoptive father, he is also her political adversary. Similarly, Taran betrays Jude's trust to gain social acceptance. Example from the book: Jude feels loyalty toward Madoc as a father figure but must confront him when he supports the conspiracy to place Balakan on the throne. Similarly, her relationship with Taran becomes strained when Taran prioritizes her own comfort and aligns herself with Locke, betraying Jude. In everyday life, family conflicts often arise when goals or values clash. For instance, a sibling choosing a life path that opposes family traditions might feel isolated but still love and respect their family. Lesson: family relationships can be complicated and often require patience, forgiveness, and the renegotiation of expectations and boundaries. 5. Human and fairy complexity. Characters like Cardan and Madoc demonstrate that no one is entirely good or bad. Cardan starts as a cruel prince but reveals vulnerabilities and a hidden desire to rise above his past. Madoc, despite his brutal actions, shows genuine love for Jude and his adopted daughters. Example from the book: Cardan's cruelty stems from his upbringing in an abusive and neglectful environment. Jude, upon understanding this, begins to see his complexity and realizes he can be a valuable ally. In everyday life, consider someone who behaves rudely or aggressively. Upon getting to know them better, you might discover they are dealing with personal difficulties, such as family problems or past traumas. Lesson: judging people solely by their external actions can lead to misunderstandings. Understanding human complexity fosters empathy and helps in making more balanced decisions. Final reflections. The Cruel Prince teaches us that life is full of difficult choices, moral dilemmas, and complex relationships. Whether in the pursuit of power, overcoming prejudice, or navigating family dynamics, Jude's story reflects challenges many people face in their own lives. The key is to act strategically, with courage, and with a healthy dose of self-awareness.